What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I want to talk about a report from Mike Florio that is a little bit surprising from Allen Lazard's perspective, I guess. So Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk said that Allen Lazard sees, quote, a very real potential benefit in demonstrating his ability to contribute without catching passes from the four-time NFL MVP, meaning Aaron Rodgers. So no Aaron Rodgers, Allen Lazard reunion. The Steelers aren't going to be trading for Allen Lazard. Well, maybe not. At least that's what Mike Florio is saying. And unfortunately for the New York Jets, I mean, we've as Jet fans have seen Allen Lazard without Aaron Rodgers. In 2023, Allen Lazard played 4 snaps with Aaron Rodgers, and then the rest of the time played with Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian. And he went for 23 catches, 311 yards, 1 touchdown, and a 17.9% drop rate, which is the highest in the NFL. Even with Aaron Rodgers this past year, yes, the production numbers did go up, which is the production numbers are nice, of course, but he still led the league in drop rate for the second year in a row. So most drops, he had 8 drops this past year with Rodgers, 5 drops the year prior, resulting in a 17.9% drop rate. I've said it before, but I guess I'll reiterate it again. Yes, Allen Lazard is considered a good blocking wide receiver, and that's kind of the Jets' MO, right? No block, no rock. That's a quote that made its way over from the Detroit Lions to the New York Jets now. And that seems to fit Allen Lazard, right, as a good blocker. But is he not a little bit redundant to Josh Reynolds? I would think yes, but at the end of the day, Reynolds, due to his history in this offense with Detroit and the familiarity with the coaching staff, I would think that he would essentially be the wide receiver too. But maybe there's a world where we see starting 11 personnel of Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, and Allen Lazard. Garrett can bounce between the slot and outside as a wide receiver, and you could kind of make the same argument for Allen Lazard. He's played, he's a bigger receiver and more often than not plays on the outside, but he's played as a big slot before, and maybe that's something the Jets would like to do with Tanner Engstrand and this offense. It's a little bit surprising just because if, Allen Lazard really wanted to cash in, I think putting up productive numbers would do that. And he's really only done that with Aaron Rodgers, in his career so far. But I guess if you make the case from his side that if he goes out and there is no true wide receiver 2 on this team and he catches, I don't know, make up a number, 60 balls for 600 yards and 5 touchdowns, that, maybe someone will pay him a decent amount of money and go, okay, he can produce without Aaron Rodgers. But I don't know how much the Jets are going to use him and what his role is going to be. Maybe there's a path to him being the de facto number 2 receiver behind Garrett Wilson. I think my expectation, at least for this offense, the top pass catching targets will be Garrett Wilson, far and away number 1, either Breece Hall or Mason Taylor 2. Whoever is not 2 between those 2 guys will be 3. And then 4th in the pecking order, my prediction's Josh Reynolds, but maybe it's Allen Lazard, or Josh Reynolds and Allen Lazard are the next, 4 and 5 on this list. And Lazard as the 5th target as a pass catcher, a little bit more palatable, sure. But I just worry with the drop issues, man. He's a very, very frustrating player because, I'm not saying that he can't make plays. He can. He has made plays. At least last year with Rodgers, he showed it a little bit more of the playmaking, but the drops were still there, and they usually come at big moments. And, kind of just wanted to wipe the slate clean from the Aaron Rodgers era. He's really the only holdover left. There's no Devontae Adams. There's no, nobody else who came over with Aaron Rodgers is left. But, they're still kicking around with Allen Lazard. I hope he's better this year than what he was 2 years ago when it was with Zach and Trevor Siemian and Tim Boyle. But my optimism isn't very high on that. It's possible, sure. And, maybe as wide receiver 3 and pass catcher number 5, it gives you 400 yards and a couple touchdowns and you feel okay about it. But I just worry about the drops. I don't think that's going away. Who knows? Let me know what you think down below in the comments on this subject. Do you think Allen Lazard actually does stick around like Mike Florio is saying? Or are you still holding out hope that Allen Lazard is traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers and reunites with Aaron Rodgers? Sound off in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.